Greetings from Exam Heist. We have identified important exam questions. Practice these important questions 2-3 times to get 100% success in exam. Subscribe and comment, share PDF in the below comment section to get PDF of these 40 important questions. If you want to access full dump, please visit www.examheist.com. We have 24/7 support available for your doubts and exam queries. Question 1. You need to create an Azure storage account. Data in the account must replicate outside the Azure region automatically. Which two types of replication can you use for the storage account? Each correct answer presents a complete solution note. Each correct selection is worth 1 point. Option A is on redundant storage ZRS. Option B, read access geo-redundant storage RAGRS. Option C, locally redundant storage LRS. Option D, geo-redundant storage GRS. Choose your correct answer. Correct answer is option B, read access geo-redundant storage RAGRS. Option D, geo-redundant storage GRS. Question 2. Which statement is an example of data manipulation language DML? Option A, revoke. Option B, disable. Option C, insert. Option D, grant. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, insert. Question 3. You have a SQL query that combines customer data and other data. The query includes calculated columns. You need to create a database object that would allow other users to rerun the same SQL query. What should you create? Option A, an index. Option B, a view. Option C, a scalar function. Option D, a table. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, a view. Question 4. What are two characteristics of real-time data processing? Each correct answer presents a complete solution note. Each correct selection is worth 1 point. Option A, data is processed periodically. Option B, low latency is expected. Option C, high latency is acceptable. Option D, data is processed as it is created. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, low latency is expected. Option D, data is processed as it is created. Question 5. Your company recently reported sales from the third quarter. You have the chart shown in the following exhibit. Which type of analysis is shown in the fourth quarter? Option A, predictive. Option B, prescriptive. Option C, descriptive. Option D, diagnostic. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, predictive. Question 6. Which statement is an example of data manipulation language DML? Option A, revoke. Option B, disable. Option C, create. Option D, update. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, update. Question 7. You need to create an Azure resource to store data in Azure Table Storage. Which command should you run? Option A, as storage share create. Option B, as storage account create. Option C, as cosmos create. Option D, as storage container create. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, as storage account create. Question 8. You need to modify a view in a relational database by adding a new column. Which statement should you use? Option A, merge. Option B, alter. Option C, insert. Option D, update. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option B, alter. Question 9. Which Azure storage solution provides native support for POSIX compliant access control lists ACLs? Option A, Azure Table Storage. Option B, Azure Data Lake Storage. Option C, Azure Queue Storage. Option D, Azure Files. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, Azure Data Lake Storage. Question 10. Which type of database is Azure Database for PostgreSQL? Option A, Platform as a Service PaaS. Option B, Infrastructure as a Service IaaS. Option C, Microsoft SQL Server. Option D, On-premises. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, Platform as a Service PaaS. Question 11. Which storage solution supports access control lists ACLs at the file and folder level? Option A, Azure Data Lake Storage. Option B, Azure Queue Storage. Option C, Azure Blob Storage. Option D, Azure Cosmos DB. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, Azure Data Lake Storage. Question 12. What is a characteristic of batch processing? Option A. The data are ingested during batch processing. Must be processed as soon as the data is received. Option B. Large datasets must be split into batches of less than 1 GB before the data can be processed. Option C. There is a noticeable time delay between ingesting data and obtaining the data processing results. Option D. Batch processing can only process data that is structured. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. There is a noticeable time delay between ingesting data and obtaining the data processing results. Question 13. Which property of a transactional workload guarantees that each transaction is treated as a single unit that either succeeds completely or fails completely? Option A, atomicity. Option B, isolation. Option C, durability. Option D, consistency. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, atomicity. Question 14. You have a data store that has the structure shown in the following exhibit. Which type of data store is this? Option A, key/value. Option B, object data. Option C, graph. Option D, time series. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, graph. Question 15. Which type of database contains nodes and edges? Option A, graph. Option B, key/value. Option C, columnar. Option D, time series. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, graph. Question 16. You have an inventory management database that contains the following table. Which statement should you use in a SQL query to change the inventory quantity of product 1 to 270? Option A, insert. Option B, merge. Option C, update. Option D, create. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, update. Question 17. Your company needs to implement a relational database in Azure. The solution must minimize ongoing maintenance. Which Azure service should you use? Option A, Azure HD Insight. Option B, Azure SQL Database. Option C, Azure Cosmos DB. Option D, SQL Server on Azure Virtual Machines. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, Azure SQL Database. Question 18. You have an inventory management database that contains the following table. Which statement should you use in a SQL query to change the inventory quantity of product 1 to 270? Option A, insert. Option B, merge. Option C, update. Option D, create. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, update. Question 19. You have an inventory management database that contains the following exhibit. Which type of database contains the following table? Which Azure service should you use in a SQL query to change the inventory quantity of product 1 to 270? Option A, Azure SQL Database. Option B, Azure Cosmos DB. Option D, SQL Server on Azure Virtual Machines. Choose the correct answer. Azure SQL database. Question 18. You are writing a set of SQL queries that administrators will use to troubleshoot an Azure SQL database. You need to embed documents and query results into a SQL notebook. What should you use? Option A, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio SMS. Option B, Azure Data Studio. Option C, Azure CLI. Option D, Azure PowerShell. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, Azure Data Studio. Question 19. You have an e-commerce application that reads and writes data to an Azure SQL database. Which type of processing does the application use? Option A, stream processing. Option B, batch processing. Option C, online analytical processing OLAP. Option D, online transaction processing OLTP. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, online transaction processing OLTP. Question 20. When can you use an Azure Resource Manager template? Option A, to automate the creation of an interdependent group of Azure resources in a repeatable way. Option B, to apply Azure policies for multi-tenant deployments. Option C, to provision Azure subscriptions. Option D, to control which services and feature administrators and developers can deploy from the Azure portal. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, to automate the creation of an interdependent group of Azure resources in a repeatable way. Question 21. You have an Azure SQL database that you access directly from the internet. You recently changed the public IP address of your computer. After changing the IP address, you can no longer access the database. You can connect to other resources in Azure. What is a possible cause of the issue? Option A, role-based access control RBAC. Option B, dynamic host configuration protocol DHCP. Option C, domain name service DNS. Option D, a database level firewall. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, a database level firewall. Question 22. Which command line tool can you use to query Azure SQL databases? Option A, SQL CMD. Option B, BCP. Option C, AZure. Option D, Azure CLI. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, SQL CMD. Question 23. Which statement is an example of data definition language DDL? Option A, select. Option B, join. Option C, update. Option D, create. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, create. Question 24. You are deploying a software as a service SaaS application that requires a relational database for online transaction processing OLTP. Which Azure service should you use to support the application? Option A, Azure Cosmos DB. Option B, Azure HD Insight. Option C, Azure SQL Database. Option D, Azure Synapse Analytics. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, Azure SQL Database. Question 25. What are two benefits of platform as a service PaaS relational database offerings in Azure, such as Azure SQL Database? Each correct answer presents a complete solution note. Each correct selection is worth 1 point. Option A, access to the latest features. Option B, complete control over backup and restore processes. Option C, in database machine learning services. Option D. Reduced administrative effort for managing the server infrastructure. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, access to the latest features. Option D. Reduced administrative effort for managing the server infrastructure. Question 26. When you create an Azure SQL database, which account can always connect to the database? Option A, the Azure Active Directory Azure AD account that created the database. Option B, the server admin login account of the logical server. Option C, the Azure Active Directory Azure AD administrator account. Option D, the SAR account. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, the server admin login account of the logical server. Question 27. Which statement is an example of data definition language DDL? Option A, select. Option B, insert. Option C, delete. Option D, drop. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, drop. Question 28. A team of developers has computers that run Windows 10 and Ubuntu desktop. The developers need to connect to and query an Azure SQL database from each of their computers. The developers require code assistance features such as IntelliSense. What should the developers use? Option A, SQL CMD. Option B, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio SMS. Option C, Azure Data Studio. Option D, Azure Data Explorer. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, Azure Data Studio. Question 29. You need to ensure that users use multi-factor authentication (MFA) when connecting to an Azure SQL database. Which type of authentication should you use? Option A, Service Principal Authentication. Option B, Azure Active Directory Azure AD Authentication. Option C, SQL Authentication. Option D, Certificate Authentication. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, Azure Active Directory Azure AD Authentication. Question 30. What is a benefit of hosting a database on Azure SQL managed instance as compared to an Azure SQL database? Option A, built-in high availability. Option B, native support for cross-database queries and transactions. Option C, system-initiated automatic backups. Option D, support for encryption at rest. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, native support for cross-database queries and transactions. Question 31. You need to design and model a database by using a graphical tool that supports project-oriented offline database development. What should you use? Option A, Microsoft SQL Server Data Tools (SSDT). Option B, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio SMS. Option C, Azure Databricks. Option D, Azure Data Studio. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, Microsoft SQL Server Data Tools (SSDT). Question 32. You have a transactional application that stores data in an Azure SQL managed instance. When should you implement a read-only database replica? Option A, you need to generate reports without affecting the transactional workload. Option B, you need to audit the transactional application. Option C, you need to implement high availability in the event of a regional outage. Option D, you need to improve the recovery point objective RPO. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. You need to generate reports without affecting the transactional workload. Question 33. You need to query a table named products in an Azure SQL database. Which three requirements must be met to query the table from the internet? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Note: each correct selection is worth 1 point. Option A. You must be assigned the reader role for the resource group that contains the database. Option B. You must have select access to the products table. Option C. You must have a user in the database. Option D. You must be assigned the contributor role for the resource group that contains the database. Option E. Your IP address must be allowed to connect to the database. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. You must have select access to the products table. Option C. You must have a user in the database. Option E. Your IP address must be allowed to connect to the database. Question 34. Which clause should you use in a select statement to combine rows in one table with rows in another table? Option A. Set. Option B. Values. Option C. Key. Option D. Join. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Join. Question 35. Your company needs to ensure that an Azure virtual machine can connect to Azure SQL databases without exposing the databases to the internet. What should you use? Option A. Azure Application Gateway. Option B. Azure Traffic Manager. Option C. Azure DNS. Option D. Azure Private Link. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Azure Private Link. Question 36. Which SQL statement should be used to instruct a database management system to use an index instead of performing a full table scan? Option A. Select. Option B. Where. Option C. Join. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Select. Question 37. Which Azure service provides the highest compatibility for databases migrated from Microsoft SQL Server 2019 Intra-Areas Edition? Option A. Azure SQL Database. Option B. Azure Database for MySQL. Option C. Azure SQL Managed Instance. Option D. An Azure SQL Database Elastic Pool. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Azure SQL Managed Instance. Question 38. Which setting can only be configured during the creation of an Azure Cosmos DB account? Option A. Geo redundancy. Option B. Multi-region rights. Option C. Production or non-production account type. Option D. API. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. API. Question 39. You have an Azure Cosmos DB account that uses the core SQL API. Which two settings can you configure at the container level? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note: each correct selection is worth 1 point. Option A. The throughput. Option B. The read region. Option C. The partition key. Option D. The API. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. The throughput. Option C. The partition key. Question 40. Your company is designing a data store that will contain student data. The data has the following format. Which type of data store should you use? Option A. Graph. Option B. Key/value. Option C. Object. Option D. Column. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, columnar.